Hi, everybody. Welcome to day 3 of the 4-day gut health challenge. So today we're talking about the small intestine. And digestion in the small intestine is, it's really critical for nutrient absorption. This is where the vast majority of digestion and nutrient absorption happens in the digestive process. And it's also important for gut microbiome balance. Even though the majority of the microbiome is in the large intestine, it's still important here. Also for immune function and just for maintaining a healthy overall gut environment. Okay, so my 3 tips for small intestine improvement are: the first one is to consider kind of supplementing or supplements that heal and or support the gut lining. Okay, so there are kind of 2 different ways of doing this. The first one is to really focus on that gut healing, the gut lining, those kinds of supplements, and the other is support for digestion. So I'll talk about both of them. The first one, the gut healing component. So you've probably all heard of leaky gut. So this is where leaky gut typically happens, in the small intestine. So it's when the tight junctions in the gut lining start to get a bit looser. They allow food particles and possibly pathogens through to the bloodstream where they should not be, and this elicits an immune response. Okay, so what we want to do is tighten those junctions up. We want to support that mucosal lining where the villi are, where all of the nutrient absorption happens. And so supplementing here, either with certain foods or with actual kind of nutritional supplements, can be really helpful. So things that support gut health and promote the healing of the intestinal lining can be things like L-glutamine, which is a specific amino acid that's very helpful for repair of that gut lining. Things like mucousy substances like aloe vera, slippery elm, marshmallow root, they can be really helpful for supporting that mucosal lining. And then also things like omega-3 fatty acids, which you can either get in supplement form or you can get through food. So for instance, fatty fish like salmon or nuts like walnuts are very high in omega-3 fatty acids. And then the one that I love because it really tastes great is bone broth. So adding in bone broth either to your cooking, so you can use it to replace stock, or you can just put it into hot water and drink it like tea. It's really yummy. So that's that type of supplement. The other one is digestive support. So what I mean by that is taking extra digestive enzymes that can help to break down food and improve nutrient absorption in the small intestine. So often there can be issues with the production of digestive enzymes at this stage, and so supplementing can be very helpful. Now, again, you can find this kind of thing in some foods. So some typical ones are papaya and pineapple. They have certain digestive enzymes that can be helpful. But otherwise, you can take a supplement that has a variety of different enzymes that can target different types of foods, like, protein, fats, and carbs will have different enzymes that break them down. The second tip is to avoid trigger foods. So this means something different for every individual. Okay, so there are some foods that are more commonly trigger foods, for a large percentage of the population. So things like high fat, heavily fried foods can be problematic. Spicy foods can be problematic for some people, unfortunately. Inflammatory things that have inflammatory proteins, like foods that contain gluten and dairy. High sugar foods can be problematic. So, trying to ascertain what these foods are for you can be really helpful. Identifying and avoiding them will allow you to improve digestion in the small intestine. And so, you can either do that yourself by eliminating certain foods and bringing them back in and figuring out how your body reacts, or you can do it alongside a practitioner that is, experienced in that area. And also I have a 21-day, like a dietary protocol, a cleanse that I do in my Facebook group that is free to anybody. And I do that once every quarter. I think the next one is in July, if anybody is interested. So you're welcome to do that. And that's kind of the point of the cleanse, is to figure out trigger foods. Okay, and the third tip is to improve gut motility. And you can do that using various, various tools. The first one would be to increase fibre intake, because that can help promote bowel regularity, and gut motility. You want to aim for kind of 25 to 30 grams of fibre per day from a variety of sources. But you do need to be careful if you're going from very little fibre and trying to increase it. You need to do this slowly, because some people do react to having too much fibre. Sometimes the microbiome can react, especially in the short term while it's kind of rebalancing. So you should definitely do this very slowly. The second one is to drink plenty of water. Obviously, you do that in between meals because you don't want to dilute the digestive juices. But, staying hydrated can really help to keep the stool soft and make it easier to pass. Okay. The third part of gut motility is to exercise regularly. So regular exercise can help to stimulate the muscles. Well, it stimulates muscles all over, but definitely just that movement helps to stimulate the muscles of the digestive tract, and that will help promote gut motility. And the last one is to consider magnesium supplements. So if you really have trouble with gut motility and you're, typically constipated, or, you're only going to the bathroom every 3 days or longer, then definitely you have impaired gut motility. And magnesium can be a really gentle way of, getting that gut motility going and getting the stool moving. And the best one I would recommend is magnesium citrate if you're doing it for this particular purpose. It's a mineral. Most people are deficient in magnesium anyway, and it doesn't have any of the side effects that you would typically get from over-the-counter kind of stool softeners. Okay, so yeah, you can think about magnesium citrate. Talk to your practitioner if you're concerned. And always start very low if you're going to add something new in. So okay, let's go through the main tips with instructions. The first one would be to take some kind of gut healing supplement or add some foods in. So the easiest ones are bone broth, collagen powder, aloe juice, foods that are high in omega-3s like salmon and walnuts, but you can also supplement with things like L-glutamine or mucousy substances like slippery elm, marshmallow root. The second one is to consider digestive support via digestive enzymes if you think they might be helpful. The third one is to avoid trigger foods. So you need to figure out what those foods are for you and avoid them while you're trying to improve gut health and repair the gut lining. Then you can try and reintroduce them down the track. Then you want to slowly increase fibre intake. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water in between meals, making sure that you're moving as much as you can. Now, obviously, if you're chronically ill and you have fatigue, you need to go very slowly. But even just doing some stretching, some gentle yoga can be helpful here. And then lastly, adding in a magnesium citrate supplement can really help to get those bowels moving. So that's it for the small intestine. Thank you.